And I kind of got into e-commerce around 2008, built my own website to sell custom car accessories. Drop shipping is unreliable. It's typically coming from countries like China or India. Once they've got your money, they could just disappear on you or send a different product or bait and switch. If you never take a swing, you'll never hit a home run. If you're doing the same thing you've been doing, things aren't going to change.
My guest today is a bit of a renaissance man. He's an entrepreneur who has started several successful product-based businesses, from auto parts to his sunglasses line, Hamicable. And on top of all that, he is the co-runner of the Phoenix-based music festival, June Jam. But how I know him best is as the senior project manager here at Fyresite. This is my interview with Jerry Ryder. All right, I'm here with Jerry. He's our senior project manager. I'm glad to have you here today because we got a lot of knowledge and I want to tap into it.
Happy to be here.
So tell me a little bit about how you got introduced to websites. I know you were building websites before you got into Fyresite.
I mean, I've been kind of into tech my whole life. I lived my world digitally growing up. I was kind of a little nerd misfit, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can tell.
No, can't tell.
My first job was in a comic book store.
Oh, wow.
And then I kind of got into e-commerce around 2008, 9. Built my own website to sell custom car accessories. While I was working for the company that was selling them, I became like a customer of the company, actually. So it kind of ties into the B2B thing we're talking about today. And started like tweaking other people's websites, building personal sites for people and stuff like that for small businesses. And when I met Sean and the other Fyresite guys at a music festival in 2016 down in Tucson, they just happened to be camped next to me. We kind of hit it off, became friends, hung out for a couple of years. And then I had taken a hiatus my previous gig in corporate world, doing fundraising, international fundraising. Kind of burnt out on that. It was just a lot of travel, a lot of hours, just a lot of pressure. I loved it, but the industry kind of took a shit too. So it was time to move. So I talked to the guys, started developing websites for them, realized I'm better in a sales marketing kind of role, started doing that. And then I had about 10 years of project management before that. And kind of pivoted into like product and product management for Fyresite.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you told me a bit about how you guys met at Jam and Jam here in Tucson.
Good vibe,
right?
get down.
Good vibe, completely different.
Rest in peace. Yeah, it's no longer a thing. It's one of the many deaths in the festival world over the past 10 years.
I hear it. Yeah, no. So that's like a running theme of what I've seen with a lot of like Fyresite members. Like Eric, he met them through He met them through going to just like random parties here, but then you were introduced through a music festival. Yeah, so it's interesting. And you run a music festival.
It's all nepotism based.
Yeah, it's all like.
But no, it's why we have good people. Honestly, it's not actually nepotism. It's really just fun and quality people that want to work, do the job, learn, iterate together, and can work together in a way that's harmonious.
Right. So you think there's like a correlation there with working here?
Well, yeah, I think there's corporate culture is very important. I mean, look at this beautiful office they built for us. It's wonderful. And we have the option to work from home and do remote work whenever we need to if we're traveling. And I get to go see my family if I want to visit my mom for a week and work in New Jersey and just kind of change my hours by 3 hours a day or whatever. It's a really great culture. You know, everyone gets to have fun, joke around, and do a lot of serious, cool work and build great shit.
Yeah, 100%. So since you started working at Fyresite, I know you worked on the Clutch app here, right? And that just won an award.
Yeah, it won an award from the National Panhellenic Council for sororities. So Clutch is essentially an app that allows sororities to manage their RCPs, their events, their ticketing, their safety procedures. They've got a really cool like 911 button they can hit, and it automatically sends an alert out to 5 of their friends with their location and a message like, help, this is where I am, come get me. So it's done a lot of good to help girls around the country or women in the Greek life. We're trying to expand it maybe into some other areas, but it's really cool and it feels good to work on stuff like that.
Really? Okay, it had like that part.
That was one of my brainchild. Yeah, it was my idea, and then we kind of popped it in there. Yeah.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I thought it was like you were working with someone else on that, right?
It was one of our previous sales guys that was here until a few years ago, Taylor. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
It's packed full of features. It does all their insurance. Documentation, everything they need. It's a lot. It's a lot. Volunteers for events. I mean, it's a sprawling app that handles a lot of things and it ties into their IMAS databases or their Salesforce database or whatever they're using for their people management. So there's a lot of complex integrations that really no other company was willing to tackle. And we spent about a year and a half, 18 months or so, getting that massaged and working into place. The data stuff was the hardest part, honestly. Like the UI, the UX, all that stuff we're great at. And it's you can really find anybody that can do that well, but not spectacularly. We do it very, very well. And getting the back end systems to work in frustrating or challenging or novel ways is really what we excel at here at Fyresite.
Right.
But please send us as many easy jobs as you can get. Really appreciate that
too. The easier, the better.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's true. When it comes to that Clutch app as well, so you were working with Taylor. So was this a product of Fyresite, or was this?
It was a product completely of Fyresite that we made for a client.
Right.
And the client was Clutchco, which was a startup that was created to target the sorority market to meet an unmet need, honestly, for insurance compliance. So what happened was the insurance company that was insures all the sororities would offer the sororities a discount for submitting their paperwork through this app instead of manually, because even until 2017, 18, a lot of these organizations were submitting their documentation through fax or email with like just attachments and things like that, or even in paper format to get their events approved. It was a long, bulky process. It was expensive, a lot of labor overhead, a lot of data entry, a lot of manual processes that we were able to automate and kind of codify and make standardized so that it was really easy for people to submit their events and get them approved and be able to do things like, because if they're just doing a quick like a house meeting or something like that, they still need that. They need to have scheduling, invites, RSVPs, who was there, who wasn't there. It's all for their liability and just to keep track of what's going on. So it's really cool.
And so Delta Zeta is associated with that, right?
Yes, Delta Zeta is co-owner of that app. And then we also built the app for Delta Zeta. That's the one that won the award, actually. Clutch won an award previously. This is
okay.
I'm sorry, I get confused. They're so similar.
No, they both won awards, though. That's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah, the Delta Zeta member app and their website. We didn't do the website, but the member app, I know.
Yes, we did some work on the initial website. We didn't have bandwidth to work on the new one, so.
Okay. Yeah. Figure.
We've been pretty slammed. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
But again, send us as many easy jobs as you have. We love them.
That's awesome. So, but you talked about, so before you got into Fyresite, you had already dipped your toes and had started your own e-commerce business.
Yes. And I have my own Shopify store. I operate that for years. So it kind of gives me a unique perspective working with Shopify clients where I'm actually in it on a daily basis on my client's behalf for Fyresite and on my own behalf. So it helps a lot. I actually care and I'm invested in the process and in the platform.
Right. And so you said auto parts.
Originally it was auto parts. I sold that. Now I do kind of soft goods like fashion accessories, things like that are custom made on my end and designed and then kind of shipped through Shopify, and I have Amazon do all my fulfillment.
Yeah. So it's to plug that. What's the...
So Amazon FBA is a program that allows you to ship all of your goods and products to Amazon. They warehouse it, they hold it, they handle the returns, the shipping, the processing, everything. And all you're paying is a small fee for them to do all of your logistics. So for example, I used to operate the business out of my house. I still can now, but now I don't have to get storage space, an office, a warehouse, shipping and receiving personnel. It saves me all those costs. And that really helped me streamline my business and operate it from anywhere that I want, which helps a lot. So now if I get an order on my Shopify store, I literally hit request fulfillment for Amazon. It goes to Amazon and they ship it and send it to the customer and everyone's happy.
Right.
They still get the prime 2 to 3 day shipping. It's wonderful. And then they sell on Amazon as well, which is the larger part of the business volume wise, just because it's such a large platform. So if you can get your products on Amazon, they do take about a 20% cut depending on the category, but it'll make up for it in volume if you have the margins built in.
Right. That makes it so convenient. And then it also, like, for the customers too, it just gets there so efficiently and sufficient for the merchant as well.
Yeah.
But the business is amicable, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Amicable. They sell sunglasses.
Primarily sunglasses now. Yeah. We used to do hammocks, but we couldn't compete with the big guys. Same quality, lower prices. It just didn't fly. So sometimes the product market fit isn't right. So you got to learn to walk away and kind of iterate and improve, because if you haven't failed, you're not learning.
Right. So yeah, it sounds like you've had quite a bit of experience with having your own websites, having your own products. So like, what is that kind of look for like, what would you tell people trying to get into e-commerce or trying to sell stuff online, like how to get into it or what to kind of look out for? You said you had to give up or you had to like pivot.
Just pivot. Yeah, just pivoted. Find something that you love, find something that you're passionate about, or something that people really need. Something I've been looking at getting into that I think is a good niche is giving away details here. But honestly, something that'd be great is something that people need to use that is that has a built-in lifespan, like something like light bulbs, for example, but not that specifically. For example, marijuana grow operations or any kind of farm. They're growing indoors, they need filters. So if you can just sell the right size filters and have them available at all times and sell those either through Amazon or through your own Shopify store, that's something where you have a lot of recurring customers, and your customer acquisition cost is usually the highest cost in any kind of transaction through e-commerce. So by spreading that customer acquisition cost over many sales, recurring sales from that same customer, you get a lot more value out of that acquisition cost for that customer rather than a one and done kind of thing. You know what I mean?
So you're talking about like the marketing side of things, right?
just the type of product you want to look at. You know, some of our most successful clients are selling like construction materials and things like that.
So construction materials? I guess, those people would probably keep coming back to the same supplier. And I know like...
And not even that, it's just a large sale when you're buying it the first. So if you're doing tile in your house, you can spend $30,000-$40,000 on tile for your house.
Right.
So that's one sale. And if you got a decent margin in there, it's going to work out well.
Right.
Just got to avoid returns on products like that.
Yeah, that's
you don't want a truckload showing back up at your office.
Yeah.
A bunch of pallets.
Yeah, and I could see that for sure. I know returns and like having products come back is like a whole other side of that business.
Amazon handles all that for me.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Now, I'm not advocating everyone go to Amazon because it does cut into your costs. If you're already doing retail sales and have a storefront or a brick and mortar location, you're kind of better off processing it yourself, shipping it using Shopify's discounted shipping rates, and taking that savings and just reinvesting into your business.
Okay.
So, for example, if you have a $100 product, Amazon takes $20 right off the top. Plus, like if it's small and light, like $6 to ship it, you're at $74 net to you, right? Plus your other associated, minor fees. That's for just the average having the account. So, whereas if you're selling it yourself on Shopify, if you're paying $6 for shipping and maybe your labor cost, let's call it $5 total, just for that one item, what have you, on average across all your employees and your overhead costs, that's only $11. You're making $89, an extra $15 you get to keep in your pocket per sale that you can put back into marketing or R&D or product development, whatever you need.
Yeah, so there's a few different approaches there.
Yeah. Mine is the hands off and like leave it on and let it run kind of approach as much as possible. So I can focus on the marketing. I can focus on getting the products out there, but not so much on the actual logistics. I spent 3.5 hours packing up sunglasses to ship to Amazon last night because I'm mostly out of stock because of the summertime.
Right. Yeah. Okay, but it's a good problem to have.
It's a great problem to have. Yeah.
So what's like the difference between something like that? Because drop shipping, people talk about all the time. What is kind of what would you say to people who are considering drop shipping or just housing their own products?
Well, housing that's what I do. It's a white label solution. So I go out and I find products that I like. I put my logo on it, design it, change some things, see what I can do to improve it to make it better for the public. That's what I encourage anyone to do. This is one of my wholesale customers calling me right now. Yeah, he can wait. He's a hippie. So anyway, it's all like Grateful Dead glasses and stuff. He's got the license. It's pretty cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I got a pair here. I should have grabbed them before to come over. But I don't want to talk about my business as much. This is more for what's going to help our customers. But really, drop shipping is a tough thing to do. If you want to white label products and like hold on to your own inventory and sell it, you have more control of the product, you have control of the shipping time and the customer experience. Drop shipping is unreliable. It's typically coming from countries like China or India. And once they've got your money, they could just disappear on you or send a different product or bait and switch, low quality, things like that. And that happens a lot. And it's really, really hard to find a reliable drop shipper in this day and age. That model used to work really well in like the late 90s, early 2000s. And now largely from people I've talked to, it's not really the best thing to pursue. It is low cost to start up and low risk, but it's a lot of time and energy, and you could lose a lot of money on ads driving traffic to your site without getting conversions. Especially with companies like Alibaba and Temu taking over.
I'm sure like returns would be high in that kind of.
How do you return it? You're stuck with the inventory at that point. You lost the full amount of the retail sale because the Chinese dropshipper is not going to take that return.
Right. True. Okay, I see what
There's no interest in doing so, and the cost to ship it back is going to be prohibitive anyway. So it costs what it costs you to buy the product, so you're just stuck with it.
Right. So what we're talking about here too is like, this is a whole other side. I'm kind of switching topics here, but international sales and wholesaling, these are a couple like of factors that are native to Shopify Plus.
Shopify Plus has a lot of options for international selling. You can open up different markets. You can use Avalar to handle the taxes in a lot of different areas. They do handle many marketplaces, which is fantastic. The B2B wholesale stuff is more, you can use it for international. Most of our clients use it for domestic. And how that works is essentially you take your existing storefront, your retail customer-facing storefront, you add the B2B functionality to it, to Shopify Plus, which is free. It's a free feature with Shopify, no additional charge. And it allows you to convert that retail storefront into your B2B store without any UI changes, theme development, or anything. You're basically just creating a customer list, assigning them to price lists for your products, and then they get to browse your store as if they were a regular customer, but they can see their wholesale pricing and check out using that.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a big convenience to a lot of businesses out there.
It's turnkey. I mean, honestly, you're really just maintaining one code base, one store, one theme, and you don't really have to touch it twice, which is really nice. And maintain 2 different administrative backends. And if you have an ERP system like Salesforce or NetSuite, you're not tying it back in twice and things like that. So when you have 2 different systems that are running in parallel, if something can go wrong, it can go wrong in 2 different places, and then you have to patch it in both places. Every time you make a change, you want to make a change on both platforms. It costs you twice as much.
And this is something I wanted to talk about too, is that there's some people who are trying to get into wholesaling. Maybe they have a product that's, it lends itself to be wholesaled. And they're not sure if they should go with Shopify Plus or if they should just go with like a third-party kind of app that can be integrated into like Shopify Advanced or something.
I mean, it's going to end up costing you the same money over the course of a year if you look at a lot of those apps. And Shopify's native apps are always going to perform better than any third-party app you're going to get, in our experience.
Right.
They're not as glitchy, Now, a lot of the apps, when they do have issues, the theme developers are great, the app developers are great, and they get back to us quickly and are able to like resolve issues or kind of build in little features for you and stuff, which is wonderful. But you can't really count on that. So if it's not an exact fit for what you're looking for, we always recommend going with the Shopify native apps.
Right, 100%. We're a Shopify certified partner. So a lot of...
Took us 2 years to get there.
2 years to get there. And a lot of the customers you try to work with, they might question whether they should be going to such... Because it's a steep price, the cost to get into Shopify Plus.
You want to be doing at least $100,000 a year to be on Shopify Plus, typically.
Okay. Yeah. So when people are looking to work with us as well, we're trying to...
But the savings on your credit card processing could be worth it, depending on where you're at. Once you get to a certain amount of annual sales, the discount in Shopify Plus versus Shopify Basic or Advanced on your credit card processing will end up paying for those fees. So we have customers that are doing such high volume that them not being on Plus would cost them money. We just did a really cool implementation with Launchpad last night. It's basically a way to launch products or launch sales promotions and pre-schedule them so you don't have to do any of the UI work or theme work on the spot when you want to flip it over. So say you want to start a Memorial Day sale, 20% off everything in your store starting at midnight tonight and ending on Monday at midnight. We can actually use Launchpad to make the edits to the theme. So put a banner, 20% off, maybe a new hero image on the homepage, maybe some cool stuff on the product detail pages that kind of hints at that sale and kind of revs it up, or even on Christmas, adding a little wreath to the logo or what have you. All that theme and design work can be done in advance, like months in advance even. And then you can actually attach a discount that runs through all your products, specific collections, and have that scheduled at the same time, then have it queued up, and it runs as soon as you have it scheduled without having to touch it live.
Right. What is Launchpad?
It's a Shopify app.
Okay. And that helps you...
It helps you launch promotions and or new products in an automated way that allows you to schedule these things in advance rather than having to do them on the fly.
Right. Okay.
It just saves a lot of time and energy and frustration because launches can be frustrating and scary for a lot of people, especially the more complicated your store is. So this kind of takes the guesswork out of those processes.
Right.
Now, we do the same thing with a development store that's like a clone of the original store that we use for testing and development. But making that one-to-one is always a bit of a challenge. So the Launchpad solution is just a great way to preview these changes before they're out in the public and allows you to schedule them so you don't have people on call at midnight to make sure these things are running properly.
But when it comes to a lot of people who are looking for, because I get a lot of calls. I take a lot of calls of people and trying to inquire.
You're on the front lines.
I'm on the front lines. I see...
You're triaging stuff before I see the BS. So
before you see the BS, before you get the call about some idea someone had about a new website product they want to launch. But we love those people too. But there's people who are calling in who are unsure if, investing into a bigger, better website is going to be worth it for them. Is there anything you can kind of say to them, or what is it that people should be looking for when they're ready to upgrade their website?
If you never take a swing, you'll never hit a home run. Honestly, if you don't take risks, you're not going to get anywhere in life. If you're doing the same thing you've been doing, things aren't going to change.
Right.
Now, that's also dependent on the situation. For some merchants, a basic or advanced Shopify plan might make sense because they're not at that revenue level yet to support the cost of Shopify Plus for monthly. But you can work your way there incrementally. You can work on increasing your conversions, improving your traffic. There's lots of things you can do.
And that's kind of like what we specialize in, is trying to trying to optimize your website so you increase conversions.
Everything on page, from SEO, from user experience, the interface, everything. There's a lot of little things we can do to tweak it to just make the experience smoother, easier, and increase confidence in the brand. And that's really the big thing, especially if you're driving traffic to your website or your Shopify store with ads. People don't know you. You could be some 16-year-old kid in Poland just selling stuff randomly, and it never shows up, or it's not the quality. It's not the same quality you're expecting. I think everyone's experienced this. You're like, oh, this is such a great deal. I'm going to order this flotation device for my pool, and it shows up, and it's like a used tire or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you really have to build confidence in your brand and in your company, and the best way to do that is to present the best way you can, publicly with your website. No misspellings. Make sure it's internally consistent, things like that. A lot of little things that you can notice. My mom, for example, if she sees a typo on a website, she won't buy a thing.
That's fair.
Yeah, she's a stickler. Yeah.
That's fair.
And our other project manager, Cindy's like that too, which is why her sites are so clean.
Right, exactly.
She notices every grammatical detail.
Yeah. No, that's a huge asset to a team as well. But
everyone on the team's great. I mean, we have no dead weight, which is nice. So
yeah,
I appreciate it.
Except for me.
No, you're phenomenal. Are you serious? You're the good-looking one. You help.
I don't know. I'm the face of this company.
Yeah, exactly.
But that was about all my questions for today. Is there anything you want to put out there, or anything you'd like to tell the people?
Just be kind to each other. That's all I guess. That's all we need, man. The world needs more kindness and laughter.
Well, thank you, Jerry, for joining me today. It's been awesome talking to you. Everyone, please follow Jerry Ryder on social media, whatever you got, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.